Namo Buddhaya Deepji, welcome, and Namo Buddhaya everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session, and we will start now. It's 7 o'clock. Namo Buddhaya ji, Namo Buddhaya. Okay, Namo Buddhaya. ठीक है जी. So we join. We just a second. Okay, so this is the daily live session that we do Monday to Friday, and just some instructions on Anapansati, breath awareness meditation. You can sit comfortably, keeping your spine straight. We have to just, after sitting comfortably, we have to bring our awareness to the breathing and be aware of the in and out movement of the breath. Just being aware of the breath, not changing the pattern of the breathing. If it's a long breath, we know that it's a long breath. If it's a short breath, we just know that it's a short breath. We're just being aware of this breathing that happens. Now, optional, you can keep your attention on the belly area, and you can just be aware of the rise and the fall of the belly. You can also label it as rising, falling, or something like in, out. Or you can, if comfortable, you can be aware of the movement of air around on the nostrils. This is optional. If you don't want to do anything on this, on this, that is also perfectly fine. Just be aware of the breath coming in and going out. Do not change the pattern. Now, as your mind's tendency is losing itself in thoughts, memories, sensations, pain, body pain, anything. As soon as awareness comes that I have lost myself, just come back to your breath. So it's like bringing ourselves on our breath, right? So we start with 15 minutes of meditation. So, right. So let us close our eyes and let us start our meditation. Sit comfortably, keeping your spine straight. You can keep your eyes either closed or either half closed. And gently bring your awareness to your breathing. Bring your awareness to your breathing and note the breath coming in and going out. As you breathe in, know that you are breathing in. As you breathe out, know that you are breathing out. Keep your awareness on the breathing. If the mind gets lost, bring it back to your breathing. Come back to your breathing. In breath, out breath. Be careful to observe the breathing as it is, not changing the pattern of the breathing. Come back to your breathing. Breathing in, I'm aware that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. In breath, out breath. Full awareness on the breathing. The mind gets lost, bring it gently back to the breathing. Keep your awareness on the in breath and the out breath. there's any sensation in the body or any difficult sensations, just be aware and return back to your breathing. Just be aware of those sensations and come back to the breathing. Complete attention on the breathing. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. Full awareness of the breathing. Breathe in, breathe out with full awareness. Keep breathing. Keep your awareness on the breathing. Keep breathing. Keep your awareness on the breathing, the in and out breath. And now, as we come to the end of this meditation, if you wish, you can take an intention that whatever merit that you have gained by this meditation, may it go to all the beings who are suffering with the prayer. May they be free from suffering. May they find peace. And whenever you feel complete, you can open your eyes. Give me a second. Just fine. So we continue our book learning from this book, Old Path, White Clouds. Namo Buddhaya Sneha ji, thanks for joining. Okay, so this is the book Old Path, White Clouds by Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. And we continue. We were on the chapter Fields of Merit, page 344. And uh, it was they say that if you sew the bhikkhus, sewing the bhikkhus robes in the same pattern as rice fields would be lovely, and it would be like a, we can call our robes fields of merit. The Buddha smiled in his approval, and we continue from there. Just a second. Okay. Now, the following year, the Buddha returned to Jetavana for the retreat season after Sudatta came to Rajagaha and reminded the Buddha how long it has been since he had spent the retreat at Jetavana. It was the 20th retreat season since the Buddha attained enlightenment. The Buddha was now 55 years old. King Pasenadi rejoiced when he heard the Buddha's return, and he visited the Buddha with all the royal family. So there's this thing about King Pasenadi. There were three discourses back to back in the middle discourses, where first he had nothing to do with the Buddha. His wife was a Malika, who was a Buddha's lay follower. So in one discourse, he said, yes, he's teaching Sagut. Second, he even more got converted. Third is even more. So three times he met the Buddha, and there are three discourses of King Pasenadi with the Buddha. So King Pasenadi rejoiced when he heard of Buddha's return, and he visited the Buddha with all his royal family, including his second wife, Vr- Vrisabhak Shakti, and their two children, Prince Vidudabha and Prince Vajna. His second wife was of the Sakya clan, same clan as Buddha had. After King Pasenadi had become Buddha's disciple years ago, he sent a delegation to Sakya to request the hand of Sakya princess. King Mahanama sent his own daughter, the beautiful So it was King Mahanama's daughter who came to King Pasenadi. King Pasenadi did not miss a single Dhamma talk given by the Buddha during the retreat season. More and more people came to hear the Buddha teach. One of the most supportive new lay disciples was Lady Vishakha, who offered the bhikkhus her large and verdant forest east of Savatthi. Though it was somewhat smaller in size, it was no less beautiful than Jetavana. With the help of many of her friends, Lady Visakha had a meditation hall, Dhamma hall, and the huts built in the forest. At Venerable Sariputta's suggestion, they named the new monastery Eastern Park or Pur- Purvarama. Purvarama. The Dhamma hall located at the center of the forest was named Vishaka Hall. Lady Vishaka was born in the city of Bhadia in the kingdom of Anga. She was the daughter of extremely wealthy man named Dhananjaya. Her husband, a wealthy man from Savatthi, and her son had been disciples of Nigantha Nataputta, and neither had felt drawn to the Buddha initially. However, inspired by Lady Vishaka's devotion to the Dhamma, they slowly began to be interested and finally asked to become lay disciples. Lady Vishaka and her friend Lady Supriya visited the Buddha's monasteries, frequently offering medicine, robes, and towels to any bhikkhus and bhikkhunis who needed them. She also pledged to support Sister Mahapajapati's efforts in building a spiritual center for the bhikkhus along the river bank of the Ganga. Lady Vishaka was an ardent supporter of the nuns, both in material and spiritual matters. Her compassionate wisdom was helpful on more than one occasion and in helping to resolve minor conflicts amongst the bhikkhunis. Two important decisions were made during the Dhamma meeting that took place in Vishaka Hall. The first was that Ananda should be made Buddha's permanent assistant, and when he made the assist, Ananda was Buddha's cousin and very learned, as we discussed in the earlier these things also. Whatever went into his when he heard something, he could just memorize it word by word. So, and he till the Buddha's death, yes, he was the Buddha's assistant, right? So this decision was taken at that time. Okay. The first was that Ananda should be the Buddha's permanent assistant. The second one was that Buddha should return every year to Savatthi for the rainy retreat season. The first suggestion was proposed by Sariputta, who said, Brother Ananda has the finest memory amongst us. No one else possesses this his uncanny ability to remember every word the Buddha speaks. He can repeat the Buddha's discourses without leaving out one word. If Ananda serves as the Buddha's attendant, he will be present to hear all that the Buddha teaches, whether it is a Dhamma talk delivered to a large crowd or a private conversation with a lay disciple. The Buddha's teaching is infinitely precious. We should make every effort to preserve and protect it. Through our negligence in the past 20 years, we have lost many things the Buddha has uttered. Brother Ananda, on behalf of all of us and on behalf of the future generations, please accept the task of being the Buddha's attendant. All the bhikkhus voiced their support for Venerable Sariputta's proposal. Venerable Ananda, however, expressed reluctance. He said, I see a number of problems. To begin with, it is not certain that the Buddha will agree to have me as his attendant. The Buddha has always been careful not to treat the members of the Sakya clan. So Ananda was part of the Sakya clan with special favors. Otherwise, there would be this thing that Buddha is being partial. He is even strict and reserved with Bhikkhuni Mahapajapati, his own stepmother. Rahula has never slept in the Buddha's hut or shared a private meal with him. The Buddha has never afforded me any special privileges. I am afraid that if I am chosen as his attendant, some brothers will accuse me of using my position to attain special favors. Other brothers may accuse me of pointing out their faults to the Buddha, should the Buddha happen to correct them. Anand looked at Sariputta and then continued. The Buddha has especially high regard for our brother Sariputta, the most talented and intelligent brother. So Sariputta is said to be the most talented. Now there is no comparison as such, but Sariputta was in one discourse that I was reading today. He and it was that Buddha himself had said that Sariputta is the general of the Dhamma. He is like when the wheel of the Dhamma has to be rolled further. In Buddha's time, it was Sariputta who was given the task. So the Buddha had especially high regard for our brother Sariputta, the most talented and intelligent brother amongst us. Sariputta has been instrumental in teaching and organizing the Sangha. As we have seen in the way in this book from the past, he is very good with organizing and everything, the Sangha. And it is only natural that Buddha places a great deal of trust in him. Even so, Sariputta has earned the jealousy of many brothers. Although the Buddha always with several confers with several people before making a major decision, some brothers complain that Sariputta makes the decisions as if the Buddha was incapable of making his own decisions. These accusations are ridiculous, but it is because of this sort of misunderstanding that I wish to decline being a Buddha's assistant. Okay. So he was like saying, because of all that has happened, with Sariputta and all the acquisitions, in Buddha's Sangha, it is coming out very clearly that even at that time, there were all the, acquisitions, and, there are some people who are not good and they do all these things. And outside of the Sangha, definitely there was problems from the Brahmins caste, and, and within the Sangha also these issues were there. So Ananda said, no, no, I don't want to become. So Venerable Sariputta smiled. I am not afraid of another brother's jealousy that may arise from his temporary misunderstanding. I believe that each of us should do what we see to be correct and beneficial, regardless of what others may say. Ananda, we know that you are careful and attentive in all your actions. Please accept this position. If you don't, the Dhamma will suffer in this generation and for generations to come. Venerable Ananda sat silently. After a long hesitation, he finally said, I will accept this position if the Buddha will agree to these requests. First, the Buddha will never give me any of his own robes. Second, the Buddha will not share his food offerings with me. Third, the Buddha will not allow me to dwell in the same hut with him. Fourth, the Buddha will not ask me to accompany him to a lay disciple's home for a meal. Fifth, if I am invited to a lay disciple's home for a meal, the Buddha can go as well. Sixth, the Buddha will allow me to use my discretion in admitting or refusing people who come to request an audience with me. Seventh, the Buddha will let me ask him to repeat the things he says, as I have not fully grasped. And eighth, the Buddha will repeat the essence of any Dhamma talks he gives that I have been unable to attend. Okay, so he had these conditions. Okay, Venerable Upali stood to speak. Ananda's conditions seem most reasonable. I am sure the Buddha will agree to them. However, I cannot agree with the fourth request. If our brother Ananda does not accompany the Buddha to the homes of lay disciples, how will he be able to record things in what Buddha says to lay men and women, which may be of benefit to future generations and all of us? I suggest that whenever the Buddha is invited for a meal at a layperson's home, he take another bhikkhu in addition to Ananda. That way, no one can accuse Ananda of receiving special favors. Ananda said, Brother, I do not think that is such a good suggestion. What if the lay disciple only has the means to offer food to two bhikkhus? Upali retorted, Then the Buddha and you two bhikkhus will have to be content eating less. The rest of the bhikkhus burst into hearty laughter. They knew the problem of finding the best attendant for the Buddha has been solved. They next considered the proposal that the Buddha hold every rainy season retreat in Savatthi. Savatthi was a good location because Jetavana, Eastern Park, and the Bhikkhunis convent were all nearby. It would serve well for the Sangha's main center. With the Buddha in the same location every year, many people could plan to attend the retreat and receive the Buddha's teaching directly. Lay patrons such as Ananda Pindika and Lady Vishakha had already pledged to provide food, medicine, robes, and lodgings for any bhikkhus and bhikkhunis traveling to Savatthi for the retreat season. The bhikkhus concluded their meeting by agreeing to hold every rainy retreat in Savatthi, and they went directly to the Buddha's hut to present their ideas. The Buddha happily accepted both proposals. Okay, we continue to chapter 53, which is dwelling in the present moment. And there is a lot of stuff here, lot of stuff in this chapter, because I have made some underlines when I read it. So let's see. In the spring of the following year, the Buddha delivered the Satipatthana Sutta, one of the most important suttas. Satipatthana Sutta, the sutta on the four establishments of mindfulness, to a gathering of more than 300 bhikkhus in Kamasa Dhamma, which was the capital of Kuru. This was a sutra fundamental to the practice of meditation. The Buddha referred to it as the path which could help every person attain peace of body and mind, overcome all sorrows and lamentations, and destroy suffering and grief, and attain the highest understanding and total emancipation. So this is the sutta, as I must have already told, MN10. This is available at Sutta Center, and any serious student of Buddha's teachings must go through this sutta word by word. And it is like, as I already also shared, that in the traditions, Buddhist traditions, when a person is dying, this is the sutta that is uh, uh, recited to that person at the time of his death. So it's a very, very important sutta. You can just type sutta, SUTTA, central.net/MN10, and you'll get it, right? And you can take a printout and you can read this sutta. So this is one of the very, very important suttas. This is from where all of this understanding of mindfulness and everything, this whole mindfulness of body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of um, charnel ground contemplations, all this has come, right? Okay. Later, Venerable Sariputta told the community that this was one of the most important suttas the Buddha has ever given. And this is clearly in this sutta, Buddha has mentioned that this is the direct path of liberation for all beings from suffering, sorrow, lamentation. He encouraged every bhikkhu and bhikkhuni to study and memorize and practice it. Venerable Ananda repeated every word of the sutta later that night. Sati means to dwell in mindfulness. That is, the practitioner remains aware of everything taking place in his body, feelings, mind, and objects of mind. The four establishments of mindfulness or awareness. Now, it's very good. It's being explained in detail in here only. First, the practitioner observes his body, his breath, the four bodily postures of walking, standing, lying, and sitting. So, when I'm walking, I know that I'm walking. When I'm standing, I know I'm standing. When I'm lying down, I know I'm lying down. And when I'm sitting, I know I'm sitting. Bodily actions such as going forward and backward, looking, putting on robes, like we don't put on robes, we put on a shirt or a trouser. So, even there, we have to be mindful that I'm putting on my clothes, right? The parts. uh, right? Putting on robes, eating, drinking, using the toilet, speaking, and washing robes. The parts of the body, such as hair, teeth, sinews, bones, internal organs, marrow, intestines, saliva, and sweat. The elements which compose the body, such as water, air, and heat, and the stages of the body's decay from time to time. It dies when the body turns to death. While observing the body, the practitioner is aware of all the details containing the body. For example, while breathing in, the practitioner knows he's breathing in. Breathing out, he knows he's breathing out. Breathing in and making his whole body calm and pure. Practitioner knows he is breathing in and making his whole body calm and pure at peace. Walking, the practitioner knows he's walking. Sitting, the practitioner knows he's sitting. Perf- Performing movements such as putting on robes or drinking water, the practitioner knows he's putting on robes and drinking water. Contemplation of the body is not realized only during the moments of sitting meditation, but throughout the entire day. Right? So the mindfulness has to be made throughout the entire day. And this is what Mahasi also says, mindfulness, if it is uninterrupted, right? Mindfulness should not be that you are mindful now during the sitting meditation and then maybe 5 hours later. No, it has to be uninterrupted. Now, don't expect that every one of us will be mindful every time. We are all in our stages of growth, but it's like again, I'm just repeating the analogy of two sticks, and you rub those sticks very, 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 very quickly, and then the fire emerges, right? So that is then the insight emerges when your mindfulness is continuous. And that is where attending retreats, like like a 30-day retreat, 60-day retreat, even a 10-day retreat, they help, because in that retreat, in that environment, you can be completely mindful. Another way, if you're a lay practitioner and you can't move out, maybe some hours of a day you can fix that. Maybe even an hour a day, I'll be totally mindful of everything. So that's why there is this thing of upastha, observance days, full moon, new moon, 2 days where they take the practice, being free, freeing themselves of distractions and doing the practice. Okay. Next, coming to in the contemplation of feelings, the practitioner contemplates feelings as they arise, develop, and fade. Right? What happens? A feeling arises, it remains there, and then it just fades away. Feelings, which are three type of feeling: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Feelings can have as their source either the body or the mind. When he feels pain from a toothache, the practitioner is aware that he feels pain from a toothache. When he is happy because he has received praise, the practitioner is aware that he is happy because he has received the praise. The practitioner looks deeply in order to. This is the practice. We don't kind of get arrogant or very happy when we don't get lost in anything, right? Happy or sad, we are aware of our happiness or sadness. And through constant practice, we realize that none of these states will remain because everything is changing. The five aggregates, the four elements, everything is changing. The practitioner looks deeply in order to calm and quiet every feeling, in order to clearly see the source which gives rise to feelings. The contemplation of feelings does not take place only during the moments of sitting meditation, it is practiced throughout the day. In the contemplation of mind, the practitioner contemplates the presence of his mental states. Now, it is about the mental states. What is the state of my mind right now? Sad mind, lustful mind, craving mind. So I'm aware of the state of my mind. Craving, he knows he's craving. Not craving, he knows he's not craving. Angry or drowsy, he knows he's angry or drowsy. Not angry or drowsy, he knows he's not angry or drowsy. Centered or distracted, he knows he's centered or distracted. Whether he is open minded, close minded, blocked, concentrated, or enlightened, the practitioner knows at once. And now, here, important thing, if you are doing a meditation like Anapanasati and your mind is completely concentrated, it happens, right? Mind becomes completely concentrated. What you will do, you will not get lost in this, either happiness that I'm concentrated, my mind is concentrated, or getting, you have to keep observing that right now my mental state is concentrated, right? You have to even be observant of that and then come back to the breath. So, and if he is not experiencing any of these states, the practitioner also knows at once. The practitioner recognizes and is aware of every mental state which arises within him in the present moment. In the contemplation of the objects of mind, the practitioner, now this is a bit tricky, right? This is where a lot of kind of different views happen between different scholars. So in the contemplation of the objects of the mind, the practitioner contemplates the five hindrances to liberation: sense desire, ill will, drowsiness, agitation, and doubt. Buddha says these five things will happen. If you are on your practice, any of these five things will happen. Sensual desires will come, ill will can come, hatred, something someone said to me, drowsiness, agitation, restlessness in the mind, and doubt. Doubt about the teacher, doubt about the practice, what I'm doing right now, all these things. So we become aware, we are mindful. Right now, doubt is arising in me. Right now, this drowsiness is arising in me. Whenever they are present, the five skandhas which comprise the person: body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, consciousness. Six sense organs, six sense objects, which is our eyes, right? All the five uh, sense organs. Six basically is the mind. Sixth is said to be the mind. Seven factors of awakening. Now, when you are practicing, first these spiritual hindrances will come. If you cross them, then seven factors of awakening will arise. They can also bind you, right? You have to be even mindful of that. What are the seven factors? Full attention, investigating dharmas, energy, joy, ease. Sorry. So we'll just complete this and finish. Okay. So, full attention, investigating dharmas, investigating the various objects, energy, joy, ease, concentration, letting go. All these things can also arise and they can also bind you if you are not aware of them. So, we need to be aware of that also. And the Four Noble Truths: existence of suffering, cause of suffering, liberation from suffering, path that leads to liberation of suffering. These are all the objects of the mind and they contain all dharmas. The Buddha carefully explained each of the four establishments. He said that whoever practiced these four establishments for 7 years would attain emancipation, means full nibbana, full freedom. He added, anyone who practiced them for, now I'm talking about the discourse. Actually, in the discourse, he said 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Then Buddha said, even 1 month person can attain, right? Then even one, it comes to 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, even to 1 day. And Buddha said, now it all depends upon how ripe you are, how much, kind of merit that you have done and what is there in you. Buddha said, even if a person listens, practices this in the morning, they can attain enlightenment by the evening. This is within even less than 1 day. So he added that anyone who practiced them for 7 months could also attain emancipation. He said that even after practicing these four contemplations for 7 days, one could attain, and even it goes to even less than 1 day. This is the final para, we'll say. During a Dhamma discussion, Venerable Asaji reminded the community that this was not the first time the Buddha has taught the four establishments of mindfulness. He had, in fact, spoken about them on several occasions, but this was the first time he had compiled all of his previous teaching On the subject in so complete and thorough a way, Asaji agreed with Sariputta that this sutta should be memorized, recited, and practiced by every bhikkhu and a bhikkhuni. Right? So we will complete it here for today. It was a very kind of uh, enlightening uh, thing that we read today, and we will continue tomorrow. Okay. And okay. Okay, okay. Yes, yes, definitely. Definitely the hope is definitely there. Right. Okay. If anyone wants to share anything, yes, the very good uh, enlightening. And this chapter will have more of that. And as we move forward in this book, I think we have closed 60 to 70% of this book. So now it will be more and more of this. And there is another chapter on mindfulness of breathing, a full chapter on the mindfulness of breathing. So now it's sutta wise, it's going, right? Okay.
Vinodji, Namo
Yes.
Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
I want to share something.
Yes, yes, please.
Just last few days, okay, what I'm observing
Yeah.
after finishing my meditation, I feel some kind of energy inside my body, like energy or tension, whatever, I don't know, but
Yes.
some kind of like something is moving around, like flowing inside my body.
Yes.
I don't know what is that. It is not very much comfortable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 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 So actually, see, sometimes what happens is, uh, I can only say from what I have practiced is that, when I was practicing, there are times where all these things happen. It's like uh, our energy, it's like the Kundalini energy, right? It starts traveling upwards as we do all the practices. And what we have to see, yeah, yeah, no problem. Sure, sure, Snehaji, it will be available. So, yes, and it is sometimes difficult. See, for me, what happened was that when I completed my Reiki 4 attunement as a Reiki master, and there was this thing that the Kundalini energy rose in me, and it happens. So, if it is the same energy, it will happen to you when you meditate or when you read any scripture. So, it can kind of impact because that energy starts to move upwards. It is actually a very good sign. It's like a kind of a spiritual jackpot if that happens, that start to happening, but it will have its difficulties of uh, kind of you'll feel uncomfortable. In my case, I felt so uncomfortable in my office, in my work, and I had like 1 or 2 months were so difficult uh, that I have even made a video on this on my Hindi channel about my Kundalini energy thing, and uh, but that phase also just settles down. Other thing what happens is that definitely all these sensations uh, happen when we are meditating. uh, Previously we were not able to recognize them, but as we are meditating we are able to recognize them more deeply, and lot of these sensations come, like for example today I was doing my meditation, the meditation that we do. There was this strong sharp sensation near my eye I was getting, and it makes it difficult, but there are two approaches. In anapansati we basically come back to the breath, we just recognize and come back to the breath. Or if you practice one step ahead, which is the vipassana, which is just bare observation of that particular sensation. If you keep observing it for some time, the sensation evaporates. And this is a fact. Very rarely that a sensation will, or something that you observe directly will remain like that. It will remain like that only and only if you try to distract yourself that, oh, I don't want to look at it, and it will remain. But when you share your light of awareness on that, for example, I'm looking at particular sensation that was happening near my eye, and I was just aware of that sensation till the time I was being forced to direct myself to that particular sensation. I was recognizing, and it did went away. And this is how we get that insight that any sensation, anything, yeah, any sensation, anything, any pain in the body, all these things will arise because see, lot of changes happening even in your chakras. right? Like I think Snehaji was sharing, in the crown chakra there are certain sensations. This all, the energy system starts to uh, 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 starts to upgrade, change. Things will happen. They third eye things will happen. And but we so in Buddha's teaching, it is just to note them arising, just note, and it falls by itself, right? Not losing ourselves in those sensations. This is our practice, right? So if your practice is basic, if your practice is like basic, the practice that we do, the I will not say it's a basic practice, it's a deep practice in itself. If you are practicing anapanasati, you come back to the breath. Like for example, the energy. Don't go into analyzing this energy, this, that, even Kundalini and all. No, don't analyze. In Buddha's teaching, we don't analyze anything, right? We just recognize for what it is. Till the time it's very much up in our awareness, keep recognizing, it fades away, returning back to the breath. If you don't have anything else, so basically we come back to the breath in anapanasati. Or if you're practicing vipassana, which you can do if you are a bit advanced, then as then suppose that sensation is there of the energy, then something else can arise. You go to there, and if there is nothing, so you are not supposed to get lost. You have to come back to the breathing, right? So I hope it may give you certain pointers, but the essential thing, again coming back to the point, is that not analyzing things. And
Is it that what Eckhart Tolle says, like inner body? Is it that on like?
yes, good that you raised this Eckhart's point on regarding the pain body. One is the inner body. Yes, the inner body is definitely there, but as you practice, we have pain bodies within us, right? If you read the chapter on pain body, on in New Earth, a book which is New Earth, Eckhart says these pain bodies are as good as like entities, and they are within all of us. And mostly these pain bodies remain dormant, right? But then they arise, if basically the thing is, if you are aware, your awareness is high, then you can come to know of these pain bodies. They remain dormant, right? They remain, sick, dormant. You will not get to know of them, but then they arise from time to time in form of anger, lust, and all these things. So what we have to do, our work is, you can check out, if you have the New Earth book, you can check out that chapter again. So we carry a lot of these pain bodies within us. And there is this book by S.N. Goenkaji, Vipassana, the Art of Living, where he says that when you practice Vipassana, the deeper you practice, you will find so many snakes and scorpions. These are exact lines of his in your body. And then you'll realize what kind of garbage that I'm kind of have accumulated within myself, right? So that is the thing. uh, uh, just a few pointers that I've given. So I think, yeah, I hope that helps in some way. Okay, Snehaji, you I will just read your question. Totally resonate. Hope Unopono functionality. I'm doing both simultaneously. Strictly says no to. No, I don't know about, see, strictly if it says no or something. But what I would request is that we honor all modalities. So there is actually no confusion. Uh, but if we respect each modality, right? So you can check with them. You can have you checked with them, Snehaji? Have you emailed them and asked them?
Hi, Dhammapada, sir.
No, with them, yeah.
So actually, yes, I have emailed them long back, but
Okay.
there was no revert from there. And
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so there's a contact number, sir. Shall I contact them by any chance? I do have that international calling facility.
Yeah, if you can contact them, you can contact definitely. Generally, when my
Yeah,
experience
sure.
was that the reply came, but they were
Okay.
quite old. The couple that were managing.
Yes, correct.
Maybe I
Yes.
don't know what is the right now situation. You can try to call if you can do that.
Okay, because like I totally resonate with Buddha's teaching. I don't
Mm.
want to leave this, but
Yeah.
I'm also doing that one.
No,
That's
no.
the reason.
You see the whole intention is that we
Yes.
don't want to like step on someone else's teaching. So because there were some references in the book and all that you should only practice our
Yeah, correct.
teaching. That's why we don't
Correct.
want to take the risk, and you can call them. And one more thing, what I will say, and this is like Buddha's teaching is basically not only about meditation and mindfulness, it's basically having a
Yes, yes.
purity of conduct, which is anyways
Correct, correct.
all religions have say that. So purity of
Absolutely.
conduct, harmlessness, no killing, no cruelty, right?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Generosity, giving, which you already do practice in terms of the efforts that you do in taking care of animals and everything. So on the
Just
Buddha's
wrong.
path, right? It's
Yes.
not something that has to be done separately, but you can still
Okay.
work with them with respect to the deeper meditations, like anapansati or vipassana.
Mm.
So whether
But
they are,
still,
yeah,
trust me, it is very tough. It is very tough, in day-to-day life, dealing with not so right people, being
yes,
mindful
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
having a good conduct. So sometimes I go silent, sir, because it's very tough, very tough.
yeah, yeah. Yes, it's not easy. That's why
Yes, yes.
this teaching is difficult. Yeah.
Yes. And so, as Deep sir shared about his experience while doing meditation, and even I told you the same, right? I feel heavy in my crown chakra and also in my third eye. And still
Yes.
it is happening, still it is continuing. It is so irritating. It sometimes gave me bad headache, a very bad headache, and it interrupts the meditation.
Okay, okay. So what I will suggest is uh, just continue the meditation, being aware of that
Yes,
thing
yes,
that
correct.
is happening. Be aware of this irritation that happens. Generally, when you bring your awareness to these things, it may go away, but if it doesn't, you can then take a break. You can take a break and then start. Because if it becomes very
Okay.
difficult,
Yeah, sure.
then you can
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
take a break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But so
literally,
one
it
more thing
gives
I
me.
will say, one more thing that I will
Yeah,
say is that 15 minutes you can have a determination that come what headache, come what. See, understand this one
yeah.
thing, like the pain body thing that we discussed right now. There are energies within our body, and these are basically the manifestations of kind of greed, lust, and all these things which are there in our
Yes.
body. They stop us from our practice. Right? So Buddha said five hindrances. Sensual desire will come, right?
Correct,
Or
sir.
something ill will come. They are anything good thing you want to start these things. They will first try. Like Buddha was stopped by Mara when he was in his night of enlightenment. He tried everything, tempting him with women and throwing
Yes.
stones and rain and thunder. So you have to push through for 15 minutes. Then take it to 20, 25 minutes. So that at least that commitment we have to have, that whatever comes, we will stay. Even one more thing in Mahasi's teachings on Vipassana, which the tradition that I follow, Mahasi says that the first instance when the pain arises in the body or distraction or irritation that arises, the tendency is and you would have observed that today I was having a lot of sensation around my eyes and all. This first tendency is to scratch or make the changes in the body posture. Try
Yes,
not
yes.
doing that. Just be
Oh,
keep
oh,
aware,
okay.
keep aware. But then
Okay.
towards the end, if you see, you can maybe see the recording. At one point, I had to actually scratch. It was
Okay.
so much happening. So even then, Mahasi says that if you raise your hand to scratch, you should be fully aware. And I confess that when I raised my hand to scratch, I was not being fully aware. So we are all in our stages of practice.
Right. But so this mindfulness is so crazy and so good, right? But it's really, really difficult actually. It's very
Yes,
difficult.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
It's we are there for because we are all are somewhere resonating with Buddha's teachings, and to
Right.
what extent we can practice, we are
Correct.
just consider it that I all the wins that we have, rather than what
Yeah,
I
sure.
could not practice. Because if we go in that direction, then there are a lot of disappointments, which can make us down. So taking into account the wins, keeping our mind focused on the wins, right?
Yes, sure, sir. And one small
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah,
Um, with all your teachings, with all your advices, and even ma'am's guidance,
yeah.
my that suicidal tendency has gone, has reduced to a very good extent.
That's great. That's
Yes.
great. Very happy to know. Very
Thank
happy
you
to
so
know.
much. Without any medication, without any depression
Okay.
medications and all. Seriously, only with your teachings and whatever
No, no,
practices you give.
we just
Seriously.
no. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And today I got to know from you that we all have that negative entities with us, right?
Yes,
So is that the reason? Is they push us to such kind
yes.
of thoughts?
See, yes.
Okay.
See, now when you talk about entities and all, this topic is not very, very discussed Yes, it's there in Buddhism also, but
Okay.
these entities are there, and sometimes there are karmic entities, like someone you harmed, someone one harms in some previous life, and
Yes, yes,
then
correct.
they actually are attached in since in the womb, in the child, and then they lie dormant several years until the time that they come up from their dormancy. And yes, if you have if someone has doesn't have that capacity, that's why it's important to have generate that spiritual energy. So then there have been instances where they can drive someone to depression, anxiety, and even suicide. And it's
Yes,
like
yes.
even there's this thing that says that a lot of these mental disorders are sometimes attributable to these pain bodies,
Mm-hmm.
these
Correct.
entities who so, and this is uh, common, everyone has them to greater or lesser degree. We have to just be mindful, more and more mindful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Most
Seriously,
welcome.
one life is not enough to keep thanking you and ma'am.
No, no,
Thank you
no.
so much.
Just keep following the
You guys
teaching.
are truly a lighthouse souls. Thank you.
Thank you so much. No, no, thank you
Namo
so much.
Buddhaya, sir. Thank
Namo
you.
Buddhaya. And okay, so thank you, Deepji. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Anyone? Anything else you want to share? Just give me one moment. I'm just checking if there's something. Fine. Fine. So thank you so much. I think we will close it for today, and then we meet Monday. So there's again a small change here. Uh, for now, I'm not taking the Monday thing, a weekly thing. So we meet the Monday thing, and Monday. What my plan is that the session, that introductory session, I will take in any of the days, kind of during the daytime. If I do it, otherwise the video is there. So Monday we meet and continue. Monday 7 p.m. So Monday to Friday we will continue. Right? So Monday, 7 p.m., let's meet. And thank you for joining. Namo Buddhaya, Deepji. Namo Buddhaya, Snehaji. Namo Buddhaya. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.